Did you know? All in one. Part 1. Did you know? The Mind's Journal. Eating chocolate while studying helps the brain retain new information, and it is linked to higher test scores. Did you know? Firstborn children tend to have a higher IQ than their siblings. Did you know? This rock formation that resembles a snake head and scaled body, Naka Cave in Thailand. Did you know? This is Victoria crowned pigeon, the largest and the most beautiful pigeon. Dolphins, whales and apes are the only animals, other than humans, known to commit suicide. Did you know? 1 in a trillion million photograph. A photographer caught a bird that caught a shark that caught a fish. Did you know? Dogs can see sadness in humans and often attempt to make their owners happy by cuddling. In 2015, an 18-year-old man in Texas chose to commit suicide by snakebite. Sitting in his car, he allowed his pet cobra to bite him multiple times on each arm. He was found dead from cardiac arrest. The snake had escaped the car and was later found on a nearby road. Did you know? Black rose, an extremely rare flower that is grown naturally only in the village of Halfeti in Turkey. Women who wear more masculine clothing to interviews are more likely to get hired and are seen as better leaders. Did you know? Una Chaplin WHO played Robb Stark's wife in Game of Thrones as Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter. Did you know? To increase sales, some clothing stores use mirror with curved glass that make people look about 10 pounds thinner. An English professor wrote the words, "A woman without her man is nothing," on the chalkboard and asked the students to punctuate it correctly. All the males in the class wrote, "A woman without her man is nothing." All the females in the class wrote, "A woman without her man is nothing." Punctuation is powerful. Artist Marta Manoogian creates giant replica of the Parthenon from 100,000 banned books. The offspring of identical twins are legally cousins but genetically siblings. Did you know? TM. Greyhounds are universal blood donors. Most greyhounds have a blood type that can be given to almost any other breed of dog on the planet. Once again, The Simpsons have successfully predicted another event, the White House blackout, which went dark for the first time just the other night. Robert Downey Jr. thanked Burger King for getting him off drugs. In 2003, with a car full of drugs, he had a burger that was so disgusting it made him rethink his life and dump the drugs in the ocean. An orca, killer whale, can put a shark to sleep by turning it over on its back. The orca then drowns the shark, only to eat the liver and the tongue. Halloween costumes from the 30s. Australian comedian Hamish Blake entered the 2011 Mr. New York State bodybuilding competition under the heavyweight category as a joke. As it turned out, He was the only one to participate as a heavyweight contender in the competition, and ended up winning the title of Mr. New York State 2011 in the heavyweight division. The Mummy had a hazardous production. The cast and crew had a special drink to prevent dehydration. Many crew members had to be airlifted out after snake and spider bites. The production took out kidnapping insurance on the cast, and Brendan Fraser almost died filming the scene where he's hanged. This is the long room in the library of Trinity College in Dublin. It's 300 years old, 213 feet long, and has over 200,000 books. Stucky, a mummified hunting dog stuck inside a hollow tree for 20 years while chasing an animal. Before the 1930s, pink was considered a boy's color and blue a girl's color. London Company replants your Xmas tree each year and returns that same tree the next season. When it hits 7 feet, it retires and gets planted in a forest. During World War II, soldiers were known to take precious family photos and put them under clear grips on their 1911 pistols. They were called sweetheart grips. Do you know? Forcing yourself to forget something only causes the brain to think about it even more. Do you know? Most people aren't actually antisocial. They choose to be alone because they hate spending time with stupid people. Do you know? At least once a day your immune system destroys a cell that would have become cancer if it lived. Do you know? Studies have found that video games are more effective at battling depression than therapy. Do you know? Ice cream actually makes your body warmer because of its fat content. Do you know? A 390-year-old bonsai tree survived the bombing of Hiroshima. Later, the tree was gifted to the U.S. and it still lives in Washington, D.C. Do you know? An elephant's trunk contains over 4,000 muscles. The entire human body has fewer than 85. Do you know? Pluto didn't even complete one revolution around the Sun between its discovery and its declassification as a planet. Do you know? You would have to do 250,000 crunches to burn 1 pound of body fat. Do you know? When a male penguin falls in love with female penguin, he searches the entire beach to find the perfect pebble to present her. Do you know? When our brains are low on glucose, we're more likely to feel angry and hungry at the same time, hangry, because it's harder to control our emotions. Do you know? Japanese researchers have successfully developed a device that will be able to literally play back your dreams in video sequence. Do you know? Having negative friends is linked to depression, lowered self-esteem, insomnia, and anxiety. Positive friends promote good overall health. Do you know? Home Alone is the highest-grossing comedy film of all time. Do you know? 75% of women ask questions in which they already know the answer to. This is why it's best to simply tell her the truth. Do you know? Shy people usually end up being some of the coolest people you know after you start talking to them. Do you know? 5 to 10% of internet users are actually unable to control how much time they spend online because of psychological addiction. Do you know? There's no scientific evidence that shows sitting too close to the TV is bad for your eyes. Do you know? Psychologists have found that sending and receiving text messages can actually boost your mood when you're feeling lonely. Do you know? The custom of putting candles on cakes dates back to the ancient Greeks. WHO believed the smoke carried their thoughts up to the gods. Do you know? Human babies are 75% water at birth, a slightly higher water content than bananas and slightly less than fresh potatoes. Do you know? Elephants make friends, bury their dead, travel for funerals, shed tears when they are sad, speak to each other, and show extreme intelligence. Did you know? According to scientific reports, humans only need to shower every 2 to 3 days. A daily shower can cause irritated and cracked skin. Did you know? Meet Ram Singh Chauhan, the person with the longest mustache, 4.29 meter, in the world. Did you know? Angry people produce more unique ideas faster than people in any other type of emotional state. According to a study. Did you know? There's a laser procedure to change one's eye color from brown to blue, as blue eyes exist under all brown eyes. Did you know? Ice eggs. This rare phenomenon occurs when ice is rolled over by wind and water. Did you know? Hearing your name when nobody is calling you is a sign of a healthy mind. Did you know? Cockroaches are so repulsed by humans that if they're touched by a human, not only do they run away, but also wash themselves. Did you know? There's a highway in space, called the Interplanetary Superhighway. It is used to send spacecraft around the solar system with least resistance using gravity. Did you know? Charles O'Rear clicked the most famous wallpaper of all time. Did you know? British pound is the world's oldest currency still in use. It's 1200 years old. Did you know? Dimples are in fact genetic defects, as muscles grow incorrectly and leave a gap between them. Did you know? This is the world's tiniest computer next to a grain of rice. Motivation. Psychology says, pain makes you stronger. Fear causes you to become braver. Heartbreak makes you wiser. Did you know? Lions are identifiable through their whisker patterns. Did you know? The longest breath held underwater is 2403 minutes. Did you know? Longest human neck is over 7 inches. Did you know? Your body loses up to 8% of water on a flight. Did you know? Did you know Disneyland has an underground tunnel system? Did you know? Did you know 40% of human jobs could be replaced by AI in the future? Did you know? Spotted hyenas can digest skin and bones. Did you know? Some Viking chiefs were buried inside their ships. Did you know? Not all moons are dry and dusty like ours. Jupiter's Europa has a liquid ocean under an icy crust. Did you know? Komodo dragons can devour 5 pounds of meat in less than a minute. Any extra fat they eat is stored in their tails. Did you know? The world's smallest fruit, a utricle, is the size of a small ant. Did you know? You lose about 50 to 100 hairs a day. Did you know? Corn is grown on every continent except Antarctica. Did you know? A seahorse can move its eyes in opposite directions, all the better to scan the water for food and predators. Did you know? Hummingbirds' wings can beat up to 200 times a second. Did you know? Because the speed of Earth's rotation changes over time, a day in the age of dinosaurs was just 23 hours long. Did you know? Jellyfish, or jellies as scientists call them, are not fish. They have no brain, no heart, and no bones. Did you know? The Nile crocodile can hold its breath underwater for up to 2 hours while waiting for prey. Did you know? It's considered rude to write in red ink in Portugal. Did you know? In 1889, the Queen of Italy, Margherita Savoy, ordered the first pizza delivery. Did you know? Final test of self-control for police dogs. Did you know? If you mix ice cubes with tap water, they will be white, and if you use boiled water, it will be transparent. Did you know? Imagine walking through a museum and finding a 100-year-old painting of yourself from another life. Do you know? A bad marriage is much worse for your health than being single. Do you know? When a woman no longer gets frustrated and upset with you, you can almost guarantee that she doesn't care anymore. Do you know? Onions have been proven to lower cholesterol, reduce chances of a stroke, and reduce chances of various types of cancer. Do you know? The most used line in movies is, "Let's get out of here." Do you know? Tigers have striped skin, not just striped fur. Invented the three-point seat belt in 1959, they made the patent free for all competitors to use in order to save lives, saying it had more value as a free life-saving tool than something to profit from. In memory of his mom, he got this tattoo. It's the sound waves from her last voicemail she sent him. There's a building in Germany that plays music when it rains. Earth's oceans were formed due to millions of years of non-stop rain. Living near a nuclear plant gives you 100 times less radiation than eating a bag of potato chips every day. In 15 years of conquest, Alexander the Great never lost a battle. He secured his first victory at age 18. Jimmy Carter has been alive for 40 years since he left office, the longest duration of any U.S. president ever. 3.5 billion years ago, a day on Earth was only 12 hours long. There are more statues of lions throughout the world than there are real lions in the wild. Iceland has more authors, more books published, and more books read per person than anywhere else in the world. Earth is the only planet whose English name is not taken from Greek or Roman mythology. Seahorse couples greet each other every morning with a hug and dance. While many people assume that Earth's oxygen comes from rainforests, 50 to 85% of the oxygen in Earth's atmosphere is generated by little marine plants called phytoplankton. A day on Venus lasts longer than a year on Venus. The Earth is beginning to spin faster. The 28 fastest days ever recorded took place in 2020. There's a rainbow tree that sheds its outer bark to reveal bright green inner bark that then matures to blue, purple, orange, and finally red. Tigers can, and will, take revenge on those who have wronged them. They are one of the most vengeful animals on the planet. If you fail your driving test in Switzerland more than 3 times, you must pass a psychological exam before being allowed to retake it. Earth is the only known planet where fire can burn. No other planets have enough oxygen. Neanamorphic, appearing younger than one's actual age. The vibrations caused by a cat's purring help speed up the healing process of fractured bones and wounds. If you were to start with 1 cent and double your money every day, it would take 27 days for you to become a millionaire. Elephants help each other in distress, grieve for their dead, and feel empathy for each other. Trees recognize their offspring, sending them more carbon below ground and reducing their own roots to make room for their kids. Healthy foods cost 3 times as much as unhealthy foods. Too much stress can cause your brain to freeze and temporarily shut down. Canada and Denmark have been fighting over an uninhabited island since the early 1930s. They send their militaries to remove each other's flags and leave bottles of whiskey for the other, literally. A whiskey war. Did you know? Out of the top 30 developed countries, American students ranked 25th in math and 21st in science, but ranked first in confidence. Did you know? It is actually beneficial to lick small cuts. A variety of compounds in human saliva can speed up healing. Did you know? If you tickle a rat by day after day, it will start laughing whenever it sees you. Did you know? Peregrine falcon is the fastest creature in the world. Its top speed is 390 km/h. Do not answer your phone when the battery is less than 10%. Because the radiation is 1,000 times stronger. Always answer your phone from the left ear. Brain is closer to your right ear. Did you know? Rain contains vitamin B12. Did you know? Carrots contain 0% fat. Did you know? An egg contains every vitamin except vitamin C. Did you know? Drinking black tea can prevent lung damage from smoking. Did you know? To produce a single pound of honey, a single bee would have to visit 2 million flowers. Did you know? Have you ever seen someone with differently colored eyes or eyes that have more than one color? This condition is called heterochromia iridis. Did you know? Scientists discovered 170-million-year-old Stegosaurus dinosaur footprints on UK Island. Did you know? Until 1986, India was the only official place where diamonds were found. Did you know? The rarest blood type in the world is Rh null blood, also known as golden blood. Did you know? A Japanese 1 yen coin is so light it won't even break the surface tension on water. Did you know? Soaking your feet in hot water is one of the most effective ways to get rid of a headache. Did you know? Disturbing a person while sleeping can increase the risk of permanent brain damage. Did you know? Alcohol kills 1 person every 10 seconds worldwide. Did you know? Apple does not allow villains to use iPhone in movies. Did you know? A sound of 1100 dB can create a black hole larger than the galaxy. Did you know? The largest cave in the world is in Vietnam and has its own forests and clouds inside of it. Did you know? It is estimated that up to 1 million people died while constructing the Great Wall of China. The world's oldest tree, Old didyouknow, is approximately 9,550 years old, and the geologist who discovered it named it after his dead dog. Do you know? The line that separates day and night side on Earth is called Terminator. Did you know? Scorpion venom is the most expensive liquid in the world. It costs $39 million per gallon. Did you know? During World War I, France built a fake Paris near its capital city, to confuse German pilots. Did you know? This is how baby elephants drink water. They don't know how to use their trunks to drink until they are 9 months. The most expensive dog in the world is the Tibetan Mastiff, 66 to 76 centimeters long and 45 to 73 kilograms weight, and price around $1.5 million. Do you know? On the 18th of February 1979, it snowed in Sahara Desert for 30 minutes. Do you know? The tallest tree and the largest tree in the world are both in California. Do you know? During the average lifetime, your heart will pump a grand total of 182 million liters of blood. Do you know? A Dutch artist created a cloud in the middle of a room by balancing temperature, humidity, and lightning. Do you know? A hacker named Jan Chrysler was able to recreate the fingerprint of a German defense minister from a photograph. This is the same hacker who defeated Apple fingerprint verification within 24 hours of the release of the iPhone 5s. Do you know? Apple is made up of 25% air, that is why they float in water. Do you know? Squirrels will adopt another squirrel's baby if its parents die or are unable to take care of it. Do you know? Russia has larger surface area than Pluto. Do you know? Potato chips were invented when a chef lost his temper with a customer. WHO kept asking for his potatoes to be more fried and thinner. Do you know? Meet James Harrison from Australia. He has donated blood 1172 times and saved more than 2.4 million lives. He is also known as the "men with the golden arms." Do you know? 8 seconds of hugs relieve depression by over 70%. Do you know? World's first motorcycle. No world bet. Do you know? Snails have 14,000 teeth and some can even kill you. Do you know? Eat an orange before working out. Not only does it keep you hydrated, but it also prevents your muscles from getting sore. Do you know? Humans cannot walk in a straight line without a visual point. When blindfolded, we will gradually walk in a circle. Do you know? Bananas are curved because they grow towards the sun, a process called negative geotropism. If you bought $100 worth of Bitcoin 10 years ago, you'd be sitting on $29,018,250 right now. Did you know? During pregnancy, if the mother suffers organ damage, the baby in the womb sends stem cells to repair the damaged organ. Did you know? The wedding finger goes on the left ring finger because it's the only finger with a vein that connects to the heart. Did you know? Iceland has no army and is also recognized as the world's most peaceful country. Did you know? In the west side of Sydney there is 102 old ship, which has turned into floating forest. Did you know? Iceland is the only country in the world with no mosquitoes. Did you know? Muhammad is the most common first name in the world. Did you know? Dubai is the fastest growing city in the world. In 1991 it has only one skyscraper, now it has over 400. Did you know? The video game industry makes more money than the film and music industry combined annually. Did you know? India's Go Air Airlines only hires female flight attendants because they are lighter, so they save up to $500 per year in fuel. Did you know? Never ignore a person per year in fuel. Did you know? Never ignore a person WHO cares for you, because someday you will realize you've lost a diamond while you were busy collecting stones. Do you know? There's a rare breed of chicken from Indonesia that's completely black, not only its feathers and skin but also its muscles, bones and all its internal organs. Did you know? A snail can sleep for 3 years. This is because they hibernate when the weather is extreme or adverse. Did you know? Only the males are called peacocks, females are called peahens. Did you know? In 2013, a man in China was ordered to pay a fine to the equivalent of $1,600 for a minor offense. In response, he paid up in coins. It took a total of 18 employees each working full day just to count. Did you know? Scientists have found a 66 million years old egg in Antarctica. The egg is said to be laid by mosasaur, a giant marine reptile. Did you know? This is a depiction of how many party balloons it would actually take to lift the house from up. Each dark dot represents one balloon. Mount Everest. Height 8,848 meters. More than 4,000 people have successfully climbed Mount Everest. Height 6,638 meters. Even after many efforts till date, no human has climbed Mount Kailash. Did you know? Anne Hathaway's husband looks very similar to William Shakespeare, and Shakespeare's wife's name was literally Anne Hathaway. Did you know? The world's most expensive bottle of vodka, worth $1.3 million USD, was stolen and found empty on a construction site. Did you know? The Chinese government encouraged the country's tallest female basketball player to marry the country's tallest man. Their child was Yao Ming. The planet Uranus was discovered in 1781. The Antarctica was not discovered till 1820. Did you know? 8 foods that will get rid of an upset stomach: bananas, ginger, plain yogurt, papaya, applesauce, oatmeal, white rice, chicken broth. In just 10 years, cameraman and pilot both lost their job. Upgrade yourself with time. Did you know? A 70-year-old man asked his wife, "Do you feel sad when you see me running after young girls?" Wife replied, "No, not at all. Even dogs chase cars they can't drive." Did you know? An image of snow leopard captured by a photographer went viral on the internet after many people found it difficult to spot the animal. Can you spot the animal? Did you know? Everyone knows about Charles Darwin and his theory of natural selection. But do you know that Charles Darwin ate every animal he discovered? Whenever he used to see strange animals, he often wondered what they would taste like, and this made him eat them. Very strange. Did you know? A man once wore 70 items of clothing in a Chinese airport to avoid paying the airline's extra baggage charge. Did you know? Arguing with a woman is like reading the software license agreement. In the end, you ignore everything and click, "I agree." Did you know? Astronaut in International Space Station see 15 sunrises in 15 sunsets a day, each after every 45 minutes. Did you know? Making a million friends is not a miracle. The miracle is to make such a friend who can stand with you when millions are against you. Did you know? A man spent $40,000 buying out 2 IMAX theaters to prove ex-girlfriend wrong. His ex-girlfriend dumped him 7 years ago because he couldn't afford 2 movie tickets for a date. How we think the solar system is. How it is actually. Did you know? In 2010, a 3-year-old boy playing with his father's metal detector discovered a 16th century gold pendant estimated to be worth $4 million. Did you know? The faker you are, the bigger your friend's circle will be. The realer you are, the smaller your friend's circle will be. Did you know? 9-year-old kid who kept getting in trouble for doodling in class gets a job for decorating a restaurant with his drawings. Did you know? Losing a friend is worse than a breakup. Did you know? Question paper of 6th class. Write an essay about your mother in 200 words. Given time 2 hours. A girl finished her paper in 1 minute. She just wrote 1 sentence, but she got full marks. The 1 sentence was, "Any combination of 26 alphabets can never explain my mother." Did you know? According to psychology, no matter how rich you get, how many dreams you fulfill, humans can never be satisfied. Did you know? Violet Jessup, a ship nurse, served on each of the 3 ships, Titanic, Britannic and Olympic. While she was on board, Olympic collided with a warship and sank. The Titanic hit an iceberg and sank. And the Britannic hit an underwater mine and sank. She survived all. Luckiest woman ever. Did you know? In a conversation, talk 20% and listen 80%. According to studies, this is the easiest and fastest way to make friends. Did you know? When he was 7, Vin Diesel and some friends broke into a New York theater with intentions to vandalize it. Instead of calling the police, the theater's artistic director handed them scripts and offered them parts in the upcoming show. This became Diesel's first acting role. Did you know? 2 decades ago, Robert Downey Jr. spent 1 year in prison, and 1 year ago, he made $75 million from just one movie. Making of Windows 10 wallpaper. Did you know? Brad Pitt believes he has prosopagnosia or face blindness, a condition in which he has trouble recognizing and remembering faces, including his own. Red sunset on blue planet. Blue sunset on red planet. Did you know? All of them are of same age and were given same amount of diet. Why the size difference? You see, these are the results of genetic modifications. Did you know? The place in Iceland where green fields, yellow river, black beach and blue sea meet. B. Cash out. Did you know? The sound of cash being dispensed at an ATM is fake, produced by a speaker to give you the satisfaction of knowing your money is coming. Did you know? Either you dwell on how unfair life is to you, or you can take action to change it. Did you know? Piggy banks weren't named after pigs. They date back to the Middle Ages, where a type of clay called pig was used to make pots that stored money. Did you know? Sylvester Stallone still has the turtles from the movie Rocky, and they are over 46 years old. Wow! Did you know? The age of 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 and 23 isn't easy. You lose friends, You make mistakes, you fall, you fail, you realize things, you hit reality, you lose yourself and you become stronger, and those are the best years of your life too. Did you know? You can see an owl's eyeball through its ear. Did you know? One cigarette reduces your lifespan by an estimated 11 minutes. Did you know? Soccer player Ronaldinho came to media attention at 13 years old when his team won 23-0. He'd scored all 23 goals. Did you know? In the past 3,500 years of mankind, there have been only 230 years of peace throughout the world. A premature baby, after it had been declared dead, was brought back to life after the mother cuddled with him for 2 hours. In 2015, Turkish bride and groom distributed food to 4,000 Syrian refugees instead of their guests on their wedding day. Microsoft Japan introduced 4 days work week for its employees for 1 month under its working reform project, and the productivity jumped by over 40%. In 2017, a brain-dead woman was kept alive on life support for 123 days just to let the twin babies in her womb see the light of the day. The baby's birth is being described as a miracle birth after everyone lost hope. Popcorn is by far the healthiest snack. It builds bone, muscle, tissue, aids digestion, and is good for the teeth. When Thomas Edison needed a wheelchair in his final years, his friend Henry Ford bought one too, so they could have wheelchair races. Physical books continue to massively outsell e-books every year. Finland has been ranked as the happiest country in the world for the 4th year in a row. Iceland is second, followed by Denmark, Switzerland, and the Netherlands. Krispy Kreme will give you a free donut every day for the rest of the year, if you've been vaccinated. In 1977, we received a radio signal from space that lasted 72 seconds. To this day, we still don't know where it came from. A 16-year-old Afghan girl, Kamar Gul, shot dead 3 Taliban terrorists and injured several other terrorists with her family's AK-47 assault rifle to avenge the killing of her parents after they were dragged from their home and killed. Lonely people take longer, hotter showers or baths to replace the warmth they are lacking socially or emotionally. Meghan Markle's nephew, a cannabis farmer in Oregon, commemorated her wedding to Prince Harry by creating a strain of weed called Markle Sparkle. 1 to 3% of the population are known as the sleepless elite. This group of people routinely get 6 hours or less of sleep daily and remain totally functional. Ancient Egyptians had a pregnancy test where potentially pregnant women peed on barley and wheat seeds. Plant growth indicated pregnancy. Barley for a boy and wheat for a girl. Later tests show urine of pregnant women does cause plant growth 70% of the time, while urine of non-pregnant does not. In 1941, Maria Oktyabrskaya's husband was killed by the Nazis in World War II. In order to avenge her husband's death, she sold all her possessions and donated a tank for the war effort. The Soviet Union trained her to drive and fix the T-34 medium tank, named Fighting Girlfriend, which she used to hunt down Nazis. In 1944, she died of wounds from battle and was posthumously made a hero of the Soviet Union, which was the Soviet Union's highest honor, for bravery during combat. In 1968 in Japan, a fake motorbike cop stopped a bank vehicle carrying 300 million yen in cash, the equivalent of $10 million USD today, told the driver to run because the car was rigged to blow. Then he simply got in the car and drove it away. The culprit and the cash have never been found. New Zealand just approved a new measure allowing for paid leave after miscarriage. The legislation is believed to be among the first in the world, applying to couples who lose a baby at any point. In 2017, a 10-year-old Florida girl, Juliana, fought off an alligator by sticking her 2 fingers up the 9-foot-long beast's nose, forcing the animal to open its mouth to breathe. As it did so, Juliana freed her leg and escaped. She had learned the trick from Gatorland. If you buy a Volvo through their overseas delivery program, you will receive 2 free round-trip tickets to Sweden to test drive your car, includes airport pickup, luxury hotel. Then you'll have 2 weeks to explore Europe in the car, they pay for insurance. Volvo then ships your car to you for free. James Earl Jones once traveled across the US and used his legendary Darth Vader voice to talk to truck drivers on his CB radio. It freaked them out so much that he had to stop doing it. An Indian man traveled from India to Sweden on a bicycle to meet his Swedish wife in 1978. The journey took him 4 months and through 8 countries. Psychopaths often have a poor sense of smell. Concerned about our loss of bees, Morgan Freeman converted his 124-acre Mississippi ranch into a bee refuge. He's hired a gardener, filled acres with clover, planted hundreds of flowering trees, purchased 26 hives, and has turned himself into a beekeeper. The Blue Java banana, a hardy, cold-tolerant banana, is said to have the consistency of ice cream and a flavor similar to vanilla. In medieval Germany, married couples could legally settle their disputes by fighting a marital duel. To even the field, the man had to fight from inside a hole with one arm tied behind his back. The woman was free to move and was armed with a sack filled with rocks. The Devil's Bridge is a 19th-century structure in Kromlau, Germany, that was designed to make a perfect circle with its reflection in the water below. In 1887, a group of men added a woman named Susanna Salter to a mayoral ballot as a joke intended to humiliate women. Instead, she won over 60% of the vote and became America's first woman elected as mayor and one of the first women to serve in any political office in the United States. Leonardo DiCaprio was named Leonardo because his pregnant mother was looking at a Leonardo da Vinci painting in a museum in Italy when DiCaprio first kicked. There exists a psychological phenomenon in which perfectly sane people, with no desire to die, find themselves faced with a steep cliff and experience a strong desire to leap. This phenomenon is so common, in fact, that the French have a term for it, l'appel du vide. Call of the Void. Slave owners in the U.S. were aware that enslaved people were fleeing to Mexico, so they tried to persuade Mexico into signing a fugitive slave treaty. Mexico declined, insisting that once enslaved people set foot on Mexican soil, they were free. People with higher IQs are 3 times more likely to suffer from depression because of increased brain activity. In 1998, Sony accidentally sold 700,000 camcorders that had the technology to see through people's clothes. There was a man so dedicated to April Fools, he flew hundreds of tires into a dormant volcano in Alaska and set them on fire, fooling the local populace and Coast Guard into thinking the volcano was active. A restaurant in Bangkok has been continuously cooking and serving from the same soup for 45 years, a form of perpetual stew. New Zealand raises minimum wage to $20 an hour and raises taxes on the country's biggest earners. More than 350 years after the Catholic Church forced Galileo Galilei to recant his theory that the Earth revolves around the Sun, it declared he was right in 1992. German soldiers in the armed forces are instructed to disobey any order that they believe violates human decency. A bus driver in Paris kicked all the passengers out when they refused to make space for a wheelchair-bound man. Why is the color green used as background? Green screens are used in editing, VFX, because green color doesn't match any natural skin tone of humans. An Australian veterinarian performed a 45-minute surgery on a goldfish named George. His owners were quite attached to him, so they paid to have a tumor removed from his head. When glasses for nearsightedness began to appear in the 15th century, they were seen as having magical powers. People who wore glasses were thought to be in league with the devil. If you count the number of seconds between a flash of lightning and the sound of thunder, then divide by 5, that's how many miles away you are from the lightning strike. This is a close-up, macro photo of a snowflake.